once again. Yes, I'm using this model some of you have never seen before, yes. And yes, Perceptor is one of those Transformers that I just have no real knowledge of, I'll be honest. So, yeah. How should I put this? I think I saw him once in the War for Cybertron video game. It was either that or Fall of Cybertron. So let me see. Yeah. Anyway, I don't know much about Perceptor other than I think he's a Autobot scientist. I have no strong feelings about him. I think he turns into a microscope, which is a little strange if I'm going to be honest. But I don't know. I think he was originally one of the original toys. So let's go into this. What have you got for us, Crick McFeely?
Sponsored episode this week.
Oh.
This one comes courtesy of supporter Third Sergio, who wanted a cursory evaluation of one of the most indubitably
in the
intellects
games
on Cybertron. It's the basics on Autobot scientist Perceptor. The original Perceptor toy was
Okay, before we start, I want to say this. I think, because there was a re-release of toys, I remember my dad getting me, like, Soundwave and a few others. I think Perceptor was one of them. But I don't quite remember, because I was a little kid. I was terrible with transforming them, so, you know, a little hard for me to remember. Anyway, let's head into this and yeah.
In black and grey, as part of the Japanese toy line Micro Change in 1984.
Okay, so it wasn't part of Diaclone.
Then imported by Hasbro to become part of the second year of the Transformers franchise in 1985. Hasbro changed the figures' colors to red and blue, but they went through a few revisions. The artwork and photos on the toy's packaging famously show an early color scheme that was changed for the finished release. The toy
I like that color scheme.
Transformed into a crude but working microscope.
It worked?
Able to magnify objects 14 times. And a mobile artillery emplacement that could be ridden by figures from Micro Change's parent toy line, Micro Man. The Transformers release of the figure rebranded this mode a mobile laboratory in its instructions. But the profile written for Perceptor by Marvel Comics writer Bob Budiansky kept its original Micro Change function. Budiansky characterized Perceptor as an incredibly intelligent but absent-minded scientist with a thirst for knowledge, whose primary objective was to find new ways for the Autobots to adapt to life on Earth.
Not a bad thing.
Perceptor joined the cast of the original Transformers animated series midway through its second season, though no explanation was provided for where he had come from. Whereas established Autobot scientist Wheeljack was more of a gadget man, Perceptor was a true Renaissance spot, a master of multiple sciences, mechanical, chemical, cosmological, and more, who enjoyed a prominent, recurring role throughout the season.
Is that a giant pencil?
His scientific skills more than once. Standout adventures included shrinking himself, Bumblebee, and Brawn to embark on a fantastic voyage inside Megatron's body, and battling the deadly disease, Cosmic Rust. His toys' continued availability in 1986 led to a supporting role in the Transformers the movie, which featured a running gag about his excessive verbosity that became one of the character's best-known hallmarks among fans.
Ultra Magnus, a cursory evaluation of Decepticon capability indicates a distinct tactical deficiency.
What?
Despite the fact that the trait was entirely confined to the film. He also remained a regular in the cartoon's subsequent third season, even starring in another Spotlight episode that saw his mind transferred into a small geisha robot named Nijika.
What?
In the Marvel comic book...
Okay, I just need to say this. The original Transformers can be goofy as hell, but I just look at that and go, what the hell is going on? I'm sorry, I just have to do what the hell is going on, you know? I did, of all things, I expected, oh, he has to deal with all different science problems. No, he gets turned into a robot geisha. What were the writers on? I'm doing this reaction at last minute. Don't usually have time for reactions off screen, like off my, when we have the reaction streams. So that sudden surprise just stopped me, like dead in my tracks. I'll be honest.
On the other hand, Perceptor didn't have much time to spend on science, thanks to his role as the pragmatic leader of an underground Autobot resistance cell on Cybertron.
Really?
After journeying to Earth via the Decepticon space bridge, Perceptor assumed a position of authority in the Autobots' Earth ranks, heading the council who chose the next Autobot leader after Optimus Prime's death.
Alright.
However, his scientific expertise would eventually come to the fore in some of the comic's later sequel series, like Generation 2 in the 1990s, and Regeneration 1 in the 2010s.
Okay.
Perceptor was phased out of the cartoon and comic after his toy was discontinued in 1987, and he didn't receive any further toys in the Generation 1 toy line, though a non-transforming Action Master figure of him was designed at some point. But despite no longer being on toy store shelves, he still put in one last guest appearance in 1989's Japanese exclusive animated series Transformers Victory, working alongside Wheeljack and Minerva to rebuild the wounded Autobot god Jinrai into Victory Leo.
Victory Leo?
The first new incarnation of Perceptor would not be introduced until 2002's Transformers Armada. But like many characters from this series who reused the names of older ones,
it was that
Armada
bot.
Perceptor had nothing to do with the original. At least outwardly. There was a slight connection. The Armada Perceptor toy was designed by Hideaki Yoke, who also designed the original Generation 1 Perceptor toy and considered the character his favorite. Thus,
Oh, that's cool! That's honestly really cool. I wish we got more callbacks like that nowadays. But yeah, I actually like these little guys. I never had them as a toy. I kind of wish I did, because I honestly thought their combined form looked really cool. But that's just me, so, Blah.
Hasbro's Aaron Archer chose to name the Armada character Perceptor in Yoke's honor.
That's kind of sweet, though.
Armada Perceptor was the combined form of the Street Action Minicon team, Highwire, Grindor, and Sure Shock, the Minicon partners of the Autobots' human allies Rad, Carlos, and Alexis. And he served as a leader and representative for the Minicons during the Armada series. A new toy of the character was released during the 2004 sequel series, Transformers Energon, and recolored for the third installment of the trilogy, Transformers Cybertron, and he made a few token appearances in the Energon cartoon and Cybertron comic book.
I kind of want this toy.
Now, compared to Armada,
I'm not gonna
the
lie.
drastic reinvention IDW Publishing subjected Perceptor to in their comic books in 2008 seemed positively mild. Though he started out as the intellectual audiences knew from Generation 1, when IDW's Perceptor almost lost his life in a Decepticon attack, he reacted by upgrading his armor and weapon systems and reinventing his personality, going from a personable scientist to a cold and aloof
Oh
sniper.
no, we don't need
His
the
deadly new skills earned him membership in the Autobot commando unit, the Wrecker.
Really?
But he couldn't deny his true nature forever. After the end of the war, he soon found himself back in the lab, putting his scientific talents to work aboard the starship Lost Light, and also enduring the wild antics of his new lab partner, Brainstorm. Perceptor's next appearance on television, in Transformers Animated in 2009, would stick to his classic roots. The head of the Autobot Science Guild, who worked on such projects as the creation of Omega Supreme, Animated Perceptor had purportedly deleted much of his personality data to make room for more scientific knowledge. Consequently, his voice was provided by an electronic text-to-speech program, rather than an actual actor, in an homage to fellow genius Stephen Hawking.
We are contacting you because the Council has decided to break the news of the attack on Ultra Magnus 2 all of Cybertron.
Rather than a microscope, he turned into an off-road truck with a mobile laboratory configuration. Now, unfortunately, he didn't get a toy. It wasn't until 2011 that the first brand new Perceptor toy based on the original character was released. as part of the Reveal the Shield series.
Never heard of it.
Like animated Perceptor, it
At
also
all.
turned into an off-road vehicle. It seems Hasbro didn't feel like a microscope would make for an exciting toy in the 21st century.
I'll be honest, they might not be wrong with that, but honestly, this is not a bad one. I mean, vehicles, there's all kind of vehicles used to make for exploration and study nowadays. Usually in more wintry climates, which why they usually have treads. So I think it's a fine fit, honestly. A vehicle made for scientific discovery giving to the scientist. That's not a bad idea, at least in my mind.
And perhaps that's why we didn't see any major new takes on Perceptor for the next few years, outside of an appearance in the Fall of Cybertron video game
I remember.
and a few other pieces of associated media. But come 2017, they'd obviously changed their tune when a new Perceptor toy with
This
a
one looks
working
good.
microscope mode was released as part of the Titans Return toy line.
Can I just say something that I hate in these style toys? I hate hollowness. Like, I get it, it's for the transformation, but I hate, like, hollow parts in my Transformers toys. It feels like they're gonna break easily. And I one day want to give Transformers toys to my kids for them to have fun with, so, yeah, I want them to be sturdy. But even as a kid, I admit, I ruined some of my toys, especially the Transformers. Damn me.
Based on his design from IDW's comic books, this figure could also assume the classic toy's mobile lab/artillery platform mode, and its head was formed by the Titan Master Convex, who granted Perceptor the power to shrink to microscopic size. Perceptor's presence in the Titans Return toy line netted him a role in Machinima's Titans Return cartoon, in which he was voiced by King of the Nerds Will Wheaton. Perceptor played a key role in the series, charged by Optimus Prime with safeguarding the matrix of leadership when the Decepticon Titan Trypticon attacked, only for Perceptor to wind up using the matrix's power to defeat the giant villain. Perceptor continued to remain a major player in the sequel series Power of the Primes, in which he joined with Megatron, Windblade, and a group of others in a race against the evil Prime Megatronus to hunt down other lost ancient Cybertronian artifacts. Perceptor's intelligence was key to their success, as he acquired data, deciphered maps, and solved puzzles that led the team to their objectives.
Okay.
And these are just some of Perceptor's biggest roles, but he's enjoyed prominence in
No mercy
Transformers
for
stories
Percy.
big and small, frequently treated as the go-to character that a writer will use when they need a scientist.
That's not bad.
Beloved as a fellow nerd, Perceptor's always been a cult favorite among fans, having been enshrined in the memories of many 80s kids thanks to his supporting turn in the Transformers the movie, the ubiquitousness of which has led to its joke about Perceptor's extensive vocabulary being often repeated in modern media. Measured against his legacy, many of Perceptor's fellow second-year Autobots suffer from a distinct tactical deficiency. And
That's
those
not
are
a
the
bad
basics
thing.
on Perceptor. Thanks once again to Third Sergio for sponsoring this episode.
Not a bad thing, but I will say this. Yeah, I didn't know Perceptor was the main one they go for scientist, but then again, whenever they go for medic, they go for Ratchet, so I guess it would make sense for them to have someone they always go to, well, for scientist. But anyway, what do you all think of Perceptor? What do you like about him? What do you dislike him? I've honestly have not the strongest feelings about him because, as I said before, he's a character that I didn't know all that well. So it's up to you. Anyway. Besides me saying anyway, if you like what we're doing here, like, comment, subscribe, do all those nice things you do for streamers, and yes, I'm speaking really fast today. Anyway, I need to stop saying that word. But I all hope you have a wonderful day. Bye-bye, and take care of yourselves.